So which is more important in a relationship? Is it physical connection? Is it emotional connection? Or is it both? If this is your first time here, then you're welcome to my channel. I just do videos. I tell stories that are important to me, stories that I think you'll also learn from. I share experiences um, from myself, from my friends, from my environment. So it's just conversations, right? That are important, that are vital, that are interesting. So if you think this is something that you would like, then please consider subscribing, staying around, and of course, please do well to also share this video with those you think would benefit from it. And let's keep the conversation going by your comments. So please drop a comment, drop your comments if you have more than one, and you know I'll do well to reply as much as I can. All right. So yeah, like I said, emotional connection, physical connection, right? I think we should first of all define what these two are. So physical connection is, um, how compatible are you physically? How attractive are you to your partner or your proposed partner? How physically attractive, how attracted are you to the person? How physically attractive is the person to you, right? So if it's a girl, how is she built? Do you like her build? Do you like the appearance of her face? Do you like the structure of her, the texture of her skin? And those kind of things. That's physical connection, right? And of course, emotional connection is how compatible are you emotionally. So do you have a good personality? Do you have a compatible personality? um do you communicate well? Are you able to communicate and understand each other well enough? How what's your temperament like? Is it compatible? What's your social compatibility, in terms of you know your yeah your personality and all those kind of things. So basically, emotional connection is how much can you connect on an emotional level, beyond just the physical, the surface. All right. So this conversation was going on in one of the groups, WhatsApp groups that I belong to, a few weeks back, and it got me thinking, because I mean there were so many things were said, you know, and this is subjective conversation, so people have their own opinions about this, and none of them is right or wrong. It's just their opinion. At the end of the day, so you choose what you think is makes the most sense to you, right? So, but for me, I think that one cannot do without the other, right? So these two aspects are very, very important. You know, they're in fact, I would argue that they could be equally important. I don't want to sound conclusive. You know, they could be equally important because the physical connection is what draws you to that person in the first place. There's this series on Netflix. I don't know how many of you. I'm sure you may have come across it, on maybe have watched it. It's the Love is Blind series. So it's kind of social experiment where a group of young men and women you know are brought together, and they have to make a connection without seeing each other, before they eventually get to see one another, if they're able to make a connection, right? So if you see people asking questions, having conversations, trying to bond and connect, without necessarily seeing each other, just by hearing each other's voice, they're trying to make that connection, and if they're able to connect, then they eventually get to see. And sometimes, in many cases, of course, there are also cases that have not gone so well. So you see people who connect, who seem to connect emotionally, as it were, but when they get to see each other, you know, they say, no, 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 I can't do this, right? And there are those who connect emotionally, and when they see each other, you know, the physical attributes, the physical, features, and all of those things, are not so consequential after all, right? So I would say, while it's important to have both physical and emotional connection in every relationship, I would say that the emotional connection is what helps that relationship stand the test of time. You know, so for instance, you're going to have arguments, you're going to have fights, you're going to have quarrels. That's a given. There's no relationship that is devoid of conflict. So you're going to have all this kind of conflicts, all this kind of misunderstandings, misinterpreting what your partner is saying, and sometimes, I mean, these are things that are going to happen. How you deal with them, are a consequence of your emotional connection, how emotionally connected you are. You're going to have issues with finances. You're going to have issues with external individuals, friends, families, or family members. You're going to have issues with friends, your friends who perhaps might try to come in between you, or whose actions might be misunderstood to mean something else. There's just going to be so many kinds of things in your relationship, right? Whether or not that relationship will stand the test of time is a function of how emotionally connected you are with this other person. So emotional connection is kind of the major bond that keeps your relationship alive and going, right? The physical connection is just the icing on the cake. That's what I'm concerned. As important as it is, it's the icing on the cake, right? So for instance, if you have a very beautiful emotional connection with somebody, very beautiful, who might not be physically attractive in the eyes of the world, or based on popular opinion or what people think, this person might not be attractive, you know. And of course, beauty, they say, is in the eye of the beholder anyway. The person might not tick a few boxes, like I have an hourglass shape, or be masculine and built, and sporty, with all the muscles in the right places, and have all the curves if it's a girl, and all that. They might not tick all those boxes, but if your emotional connection is tight, right, you could find out that that emotional connection could subsist and cover for deficiencies, as it were, in the other area, right? If you have a good emotional connection and you find the person physically attractive as well, then that's a win for you. But if the reverse is the case, if you have a good emotional connection, there's a very good sexual tension, but you're not able to connect emotionally, I can guarantee you that that relationship might not go very far, right? Because I mean, the physical connection is more superficial. It's more superficial than emotional connection. Emotional connection gets to the core, assesses belief system, assesses values, assesses disposition to major issues like finance, uh, um, religion, faith, and several other issues, you know, that that actually life revolves around. Those are what keeps relationships going, not the physical. While the physical is important, like I said, right? The physical is important, but I think that the emotional connection uh, is a lot more significant than the physical connection. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people who have fantastic emotional and physical connection whose relationship still goes out. All right. So, beyond these connections, emotional, physical, social, or whatever other kind of connection that you make in your relationship, right? Relationships are always a work in progress. So there's really no point of perfection in any relationship. It's constantly a work in progress. So you are constantly putting in the effort. You're constantly being intentional. You're constantly taking the initiative, regardless of what the other person is doing. And even when the other person is falling short, you're constantly showing up and stepping up and trying to keep up. That's what relationships are about. It's about giving your 100% every single day, every single time. In every situation, you're giving 100%, regardless of how many percent the other person is giving. If you begin to consider what percentage the other person is bringing up, or is putting in, then of course you won't give it your 100%. And when that begins to happen, then you find out that gradually, you guys are beginning to drift apart, and before long, you might start asking yourself, where did the relationship go to? So those are my thoughts as to which is more important, um, between emotional connection and physical connection, right? I think that physical connection is good, but emotional connection is the crux of every relationship, and every individual or individuals in a relationship should always strive, you know, to continue to improve the emotional connection. And of course, other aspects of the connection, improve the physical, try to look good for your partner. You're always working on every aspect of yourself. Basically, you don't get into a relationship and get to a point, even in marriage, even when you are finally married and settled down, you want to keep looking nice and beautiful, for your partner. You want to keep, you know, meeting the needs of your partner as much as you can, as reasonably as you can. You want to keep, showing them that you are still invested in this relationship, that you're making the effort, basically. So it is the effort that counts in every relationship. It's the effort that counts, and as long as you're putting the effort, as long as there's a commitment, as long as there's a sincerity, there's the open communication, right? I don't think there's any issues that you cannot navigate through. All right. So all these aspects of connections are important, emotional, physical, and all the other aspects, but I think, uh, with regards to emotional and physical, I think emotional, you know, is more deeply rooted than physical, which I think is more superficial, right? So those are my thoughts. Like I said, it's subjective. You can have your own opinions. You can disagree with me, which is absolutely fine. All right, but that's what I think. Okay, so please let me know if you agree or if you disagree with me in the comment section. I'd like to hear what your thoughts are on this subject matter as well. All right, and yeah, thank you for sticking around. Please, like I said, like, share, comment, and I'll see you in the next one.